Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yeah. Now, today is the third category, third area of Abhidhamma, which is the Rupa, the matter. We completed the areas of Chitta and Chetasikas. Then today, the Rupa, the matter. And finally, we will have a short discussion on Nibbana. Then basically, we cover the entire edifice of Abhidhamma, Chitta, Chetasika, Rupa, Nibbana. Mind, mental factors, form, and Nibbana are the main or the basic teachings that are discussed in Abhidhamma. So we are moving on to the matter, then we will discuss shortly on Nirvana. What is matter? Matter in Pali called Rupa. Everything visible to us, everything that we can touch, we can feel, belong to this area, including our own material self. Whatever it is, whatever is invisible to us is residing within us as something immaterial, something intangible, something that we can only presume to exist within without any visibility or tangibility. Now, Rupa, matter or form, matter or form. Now, this is an umbrella term for everything that is formed with certain types of elements. Elements are the background behind all sorts of form, all sorts of rupa. Now, Buddhists, or usually in our usual understanding, regular general understanding, when we say rupa, it means we think this form, this physical form is the rupa. No. In Pali, this physical form is basically introduced as kaya, kaya. That is the physical body. When we say rupa or form, it means everything generated by the elements of solidity, heat, fluidity, and air. Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. From these four basics elements, whatever is generated, that generated material is called as a rupa, matter. Now, Buddhism is basically based on this particular language called Pali. Now, in Pali, when we say it is rupa, it has a particular meaning to it. In English, you say matter. But when you say the same thing in Pali as rupa, it means that which is subject to change and decay. So rupa is none other than, or the matter is, whatever matter, whatever materials you happen to experience via your five sense doors, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the body, whatever matter you experience, that matter has a universal characteristic, common characteristic. That characteristic is that matter is something subject to change and decay. You see, everything is related to Dhamma. When we talk about change and decay, it means impermanence, right? Anicca. So, whatever is subject to impermanence is matter. That's how the Buddha explains matter. Whatever is subject to change and decay, subject to impermanence. Now, in the Janiya Sutta Samyutta Nikaya, Buddha says what? About matter, he says, and why, monks, do you say material form, rupa? Because it is deformed, rupati. So, rupati ti rupo, because it is deformed. Therefore, it is called material form. Deformed by what? Deformed by cold, by heat, by hunger, by thirst, by flies, by mosquitoes, wind, sunburn, and creeping things. Yeah. So these alien influences, external forces change the material form. We all know during the winter how our bodies turning into different sort of way of living, different state is generated in the winter, the weather system. In the summer, our body is reacting in the different way, behaving in the different way. Are we doing about anything? I mean, are we doing anything about it? No. When the weather system is changing, our body is changing accordingly. So Buddha is right in that way. When something bites our body, how does our body react? How does that reaction happen in the body? When you are stricken by certain sicknesses, how does your body changes? Right? So Buddha says, due to these external impacts, your body changes, your life, I mean, your form changes, your appearance changes. So this changing is the universal characteristic, the characteristic which is same for everybody is nothing but the changing. So the form rupa is because it is rupatiti, because it is deformed, it is changing according to these circumstances. Now, how many types of matter are there? There are 28 material phenomena we are going to discuss here. Out of these 28, there are four basic materials, four basic elements, which are the parents for the rest of the 24 materials. 24 material phenomena are based upon, derived upon, established upon these four great essentials. Four great essentials. What's the Pali term? Mahabhuta. So Mahabhutas are four. Now these Mahabhutas give birth or cause to arise another 24 material phenomena. Yeah. So they are called derived material phenomena, upadaya rupa. Now these are the two major categories of matter. First one is Mahabhutas. Second one is Upadaya Rupa. derived. That word itself permits us to understand that they are based upon something else, derived. Derived on which? Derived on the four great essentials, Mahabhutas. Now, first one, of course, first category is great essentials. You can see on the left side, right? Great essentials. What are they? Earth, water, fire, air. We all know this, right? Now, based on these four great essentials, a category of elements, category of materials, category of matter is generated. They are called Nippanna Rupa. Why they are called Nippanna Rupa, or concretely produced matter? Why? Because they are to be understood via meditation, or they can be the subject for your spiritual cultivation. So Buddha says, based on these four great essentials, there are types of matter is generated. These matter are called Nippanna Rupa. Why they are called Nippanna Rupa? Because they can be, in the Buddhist standpoint, in the Buddhist perspective, they can be the causes or subjects for your practice, spiritual training. The other types of material that arise, again based on the great essentials, again based on the Mahabhutas, are called Anippanna Rupa. Now, these Anippanna Rupa, or non-concrete matter, right? They are there, but they cannot help, or they cannot cause, or they cannot be the subject for your meditation. Yeah. So Nippanna Rupa, Nippanna Rupa. Now you can see first category Mahabhuta, the basic four elements, and there are 24 upa. Yeah. The that based upon the four great essentials. That's the broad Nippanna Rupa, Panna Rupa. Out of the 28, 28, out of the, there are kind of matter which are for your meditative development, your meditation, and which can be other than those supporters for meditation. Yeah. Now, first we go to the, just learn their characteristics. Please free to read this. You can see the earth, heavy the, though we call it is earth, it is not the earth that explains here. It is the quality of the earth, the quality, hardness or softness. When you touch something or soft, whatever solidity you feel, that's due to the fact of the existence of The, the existence of the element of earth is felt via the solidity. That solidity is divided as hardness and softness. Via the experience of that solidity, we understand the existence of the earth element. Pathavi. If you translate that Pathavi, the word, it means to expel out. Earth element do. Yeah. Is being done. So this earth serves as found material phenomena. Now the other water, fire, air, earth element provocation. Yeah? We'll have an example about this later. Please read. Thus, the earth element represents extension, characteristic, or softness, function for other primary elements and derived matter. Yeah. So, earth element is providing all the base or the foundation for the other elements as well as upadaya rupas, other material phenomena. Everything is founded upon the earth element. Station. How does it receiving other elements, receiving the other derived phenomena, right? For this earth element to exist, can the earth element exist alone? No. So it exists in the presence of the other three essentials. Then the water element, apodhatu. Now, when we think about water element, yeah, we see that flowing nature. It is not the water element. Water element is the characteristic, trickling or oozing. If something is trickling and oozing, yeah, flowing. If something is attached to each other, connected without being scattered, like a heap of ash, you kick a heap of ash and that ash is spread out everywhere. What is lacking there? Water element. If the water element is there, that ash wouldn't spread out. So the water element is usually sticking, connecting, collecting the other elements together. Right? See the characteristic coexisting material states. Yeah. Manifestation. Proximate cause. Again, other three essentials. Yeah. Water cannot be sensed, must be inferentially known from cohesion of matter. Water element is something you cannot feel because it is I mean, what does the water element do? It connects, collect, keep together the other great essentials. Yeah. The earth, air, the heat, they are connected together, collected together, put in together due to the presence of the water element. Then comes the fire, tejo dhatu. Characteristic, heat. Function, mature or ripen other material phenomena. Yeah. When the heat element is less and less, your appearance will have a very ugly impact on you. Yeah. When the heat element is moving up, abundant within you, your appearance will have a beautiful outlook. Manifestation, continuous supply of softness is the manifestation. Fire element is experienced in both modes of heat and cold. Even in the eyes, what exists? The fire element in the lowest level. In the fire, that the fire element in the highest level. In both situations, what do we experience? The heat, element of heat. In the air, principle of motion and pressure. Yeah. Extension, motion, pressure. Characteristic, distension. Yeah. Function, cause motion in other material phenomena. Manifestation, conveyance to other places. Proximate cause, the other three great essentials, experienced as tangible pressure. Now, Abhidhamma says there is nothing in this world that exists without the presence of these earth, water, fire, air. But keep in mind, our senses can feel only the earth, fire, air. Whatever we feel, we can feel only these three elements. Out of these four, water element is something we cannot feel because it is inferentially there. It is there within it with the action or with the function of keeping them together. Now, this is the example. Taken together, the four great essentials are founded upon the earth element, held together by the water element. What does it do? Keep them together. Then the maintained by the fire element and distended by the air element, expanded by the air element. Yeah. Found upon the earth element, held together, kept together by the water element, maintained by element. Yeah. Keep them alive, keep them expand, yeah, by the air element. Now, another thing we have to understand, as the there are four characteristics. One, Gana, the Pali words, right? These are subsidiary material qualities. Now, as four great essential exits, four subsidiaries exist together, right? So altogether, 8, we cannot say elements, 8 characteristics. These are called Suddhataka means 8. The pure means they are there, the support, without the assistance or without the with the other the color, nutritive essence, taste, smell. These essential exist. They exist in a heap. Meditative topic view. The Buddha found the way to separate different exist together and manifest. They cannot separate. Earth, air, then the color, smell, taste, and nutritive essence. Nutritive essence is that aliveness. Yeah, the color is there, smell is there, and the taste is there. That aliveness is there. Yeah, this is same for trees. This is same for human beings, animals, everybody. Built up on these pure factors, Suddhatthaka. Then we go to the second category. Sensitive material phenomena, Pasada Rupa. Right? Remember, all these material phenomena, now this is derived. Derived upon what? Derived upon the four great essentials, and they are derived, and their characteristics, Vanna Gandha Rasa Oja, color, smell, taste, nutritive essence. Based on these 8 pure factors, there arise other material phenomena. Right? First category is sensitive material phenomena. We call them Pasada Rupa. Pasada Rupa exists in our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the body. Eye sensitivity, Chakku Pasada. It is not the Sasambhara Chakku. What is Sasambhara Chakku? Sasambhara Chakku is this composite eye, the entire eyeball. Do you think our entire eyeball is involving in the act of seeing? No. Eyeball, that entire eye is supporting for that eye sensitivity. Right? That small area where the color is, which is responding for the color, which is responding for the light, right? Which helps for us to see a small area. That small area is what we call the eye sensitivity. Chakku Pasada. Please read. Sensitive substance in the retina that registers light and color. That retina, yeah, that sensitive substance is the eye sensitivity. Serves as physical base and door for eye consciousness. Then comes the ear sensitivity, Sotapasada. Found inside the ear, the sensitive substance that registers sound. I heard that there are some kind of hair within us, in the ear cavity. That hair and that substance is what we call the ear sensitivity. nose sensitivity, found inside the nasal office, right? And registers smell. Tongue sensitivity. Now, tongue, entire tongue is right. So that sensitivity is diffused, spread all all over the tongue. Because wherever touches that taste, you can feel it. So entire tongue, not the entire tongue, but on the surface of the tongue, that sensitivity is there, diffused over the surface of the tongue. Now, if your tongue gets burnt, happen to drink extremely hot water or something, if your tongue gets burnt, then that sensitivity is gone. You don't feel the taste anymore in that small area where your tongue got burned, right? Then the body sensitivity is all over the body, other than our hair, nails, teeth, yeah, other than our hair, nail, teeth, and the body bone structure. Other than that, all over the body, that sensitivity is there. So these are called the pasada rupa. Pasada rupa are nothing but the external phenomena, material phenomena, actually, external phenomena when they get contact with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the body, where the response happens to those external contacts. That response happens through the pasada rupa, right? So that this is the second nippanna rupa, second concretely produced material phenomena, right? Then comes the external contacts for those pasada rupas, for those sensitive material phenomena. Yeah. What are they? Color, one. All what we see is color, right? Now, why we cannot see this air moving? Because of colorlessness. If you happen to see some certain fumes, how can we see the fumes moving on? Because of the color, right? All what our eyes can see is color. Then come the sounds, sadha. Then comes the gandha, smell. Then the rasa, taste. Then comes the tangible, pottabha. Now, in this tangible, pottabha, how many elements are involved? What are the elements involved in the tangibles, in the things that we can touch? Remember, the earth element is we can feel, we can touch. Air element can be felt, can be touched. Then the heat element, yeah, fire element can be felt, can be touched, but not the water element. Yeah. So cold or hot is felt as tejo, softness or hardness as patavi, pressure is vayu. These are the things we can feel. Please read these characteristics. The five sense spheres that serve as the objective support for the corresponding types of sense consciousness. They impinge on the sense basis. Now we were talking about these pasada rupas, right? Now these pasada rupas are the direct contact to the external objective, uh, these sounds, I mean color, sounds, smell, taste, and tangibles. All right. Then we go to the Bhavarupa. Bhavarupa are the two kinds of sex. Femininity, itindriya, masculinity, purisa indriya, right? Now, characteristic female or male gender, function shows femininity and masculinity. Manifestation, reason for the mark, sign, work, and ways of the female and male. Now, how come we understand, we recognize the male figure and the female figure, right? Now, these are characteristics actually. Now, there was this argument or the discussion in Buddhist texts that there is a saying that when somebody is born as a female, that means she has done something evil in the past. That's why she is born as a female, right? That idea is there. If somebody is born as a woman, I heard that one monk was just saying this without thinking, without yeah, without thinking about the consequences. He was just saying this, that if somebody is born as a woman, that means she has done something evil in the past. That's why she is born as a woman. So basically, women are, let's say, according to him, they must have done something sinful in the past, right? Now, is it acceptable according to the teachings of the Abhidhamma or teachings of the Buddha? Now, that idea came into Buddhism not based on the Buddha's teaching. It is based on the Brahmins, Hindu teaching. Hinduism, they had this concept. They had this idea. They always looked down upon uh, female, looked down upon women. Yeah, that's inherently there in the Brahmin, among the Brahmins and in the Hinduism. So from Hinduism, we have to understand that Buddhism also born in India, existed in India, and even the Buddha himself and all his followers are none other than Hindus, right? Naturally, those Hindu concepts, Hinduism, concepts in the Hinduism must have crept into Buddhism. That's natural, that's normal. So this is from Hinduism. But if we happen to follow the authentic teachings of the Buddha, how come someone become a man or woman? Because of the development of affinity. Development of affinity. That means you developed the female tendencies within. Now, we have seen even men, there are men, but basically they develop these female tendencies, female behaviors, female way of thinking, they develop. So we can assume, since they continuously developing these female characteristics within, there's a possibility that they will be born as females in the next life, right? So, and we have seen even females, right? They behave in a masculine way, strong, assertive, commanding, powerful way they live in. So there's a possibility this lady can be born as a male next time. So it is the development of consciousness. We have to understand that it is the consciousness that is moving from one life to another. I cannot say consciousness moving, but consciousness is the cause for that subsequent life to arise. So you develop a consciousness in a particular pattern, then naturally your life is generated accordingly. Sin and merit has nothing to do with it. Yeah, sin or merits or good or bad deeds have nothing to do with it. It is the development of characteristics. Yeah. So the here in this lesson we can find Buddha says the matter is shaped into two different areas, that is male and female. How do we distinguish these two areas of development? According to their behaviors, according to their physical postures, according to the way they act and way they behave. That's how we recognize them. That's how we separate them as male and female. You see, characteristic function shows femininity and masculinity. If someone, let's say a male is there, but shows the femininity, there are, right? So we can see that tendency is moving, right? So development of that tendency is the cause for someone to be born as a male or female. Merit or sin has nothing to do with it. And the behavior is the way to understand that the matter has taken into different shapes. What are the shapes? Male or female. Manifestation, reason for mark, sign, work, and ways of the male, female, and male. That's to say, sexual structure, features, typical occupations, typical deportment, the way you act and the way you behave. Heart base, Hade Rupa, right? Now, we know our heart is there, right? Here. But the entire heart base, of course, that is Sasambhara. That is the form of the heart, is not the cause for the chitta and chetasikas to arise. We say, according to the Abhidhamma, heart base is where our consciousness, mind and mental factors arise. In the heart base. Where does they exactly arise? Following Abhidhamma, it says, for a moment, in the heart, there exits a quantity of blood. That quantity is, now if you put something onto your palm, or you make your palm as a cup, make like a cup, small cup, and put some water there. How much water remains in your palm? That much blood exits in the heart. And on the surface level of the blood, that shiny surface level of the blood is where your consciousness exists. Your mental factors arise. That shiny surface level of the blood that exists for a moment in your heart. That blood is pumped out. Another quantity of blood comes back place. That blood also pumped out. So whatever blood exists for a moment in your heart, and on that surface level of the blood, that shiny surface is where the mind and mental factors arise. Mind element and mind consciousness element. That's what Abhidhamma says. So heart base, Hade Rupa. Then the life faculty, Jivitindriya. Material counterpart of the mental life faculty. Now, if you happen to go to your past lessons, yeah, you may have heard one of the 7 universals is mental life faculty. Mental life faculty is nothing but the continuity of your mind, putting or giving energy for the mind to continue. That's mental life faculty. In the same manner, giving energy for this body to continue, body to persist. That is life faculty. Yeah. Now, this life faculty is getting weak and weak when we are becoming older. Life faculty is what is becoming weak. Nothing else. Energy is getting less. As we get older, the level of vitality gradually goes down and is completely extinguished when we die. What happened when we die? Our life faculty is what dies with the body dies. As the body dies, life faculty dies. That means continuity stops. All right? Jivitindriya. Then Kabbalikara Ahara. Kabbalikara Ahara. Kabbali means pieces. The food we take, making them into pieces. That means we put food in our mouth and then we chew them until they become into small pieces and then we swallow. What type of food, whatever type of food we take like that, they are called Kabbalikara. Right? Why only this name? I mean, what is the significance giving just this name for this word, nutriment, for the food we eat? Why that name is given? I mean, what is the reason for giving that name? Because we take food in other ways as well. Yeah. Now there are how many types of food? First one is, of course, this one, food for the body, the food we chew and swallow. Then food for the senses, pasahara, the contacts for that happens for our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Pasahara. Then that is food for the senses. Food for the mind, thoughts. Our thoughts are the food for the mind. Why meditation is hard? Meditation is hard when we keep our mind in fasting. When we fasting, when we are stopping giving food for our minds, then the mind reacts. And we cannot meditate. We struggle with meditation. Right? So food for the mind is thoughts. Then comes food for the consciousness, good and the bad deeds, vijnanahara. So kabalikarahara, food for the body, pasahara, food for the senses, food for the mind, thoughts, then good and bad deeds, food for the consciousness, vijnanahara. Kabalikarahara, pasahara, manu sanchetana ahara, then vijnanahara. These are the types of food. So there are other types of food. That's why here specifically says Kabalikarahara. That means the food we chew and swallow. Yeah. That's only one type of food for the body. Refers to nutritional substance found in edible food. So not exactly the food here is meant by this word. What is meant is the nutritional nutrients which exist in those types of food. Like the present day, we say protein, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals. Yeah. So nutritive essence, oja is the Pali word for that, is what is meant here as a type of matter. I mean types of matter. We know what happens when we take the food, right? Sustain the physical body, fortifying the body. Proximate cause, gross edible food. Then comes the space element. Akasa Dhatu. Akasa Dhatu. Right? This is the void region that delimits and separates objects and groups of material phenomena. In between, even the four great essentials and the other four factors, Vanna, Gandha, Rasa, Oja, the 8 pure factors, yeah, that 8 pure factors, we call them 8 pure octads, OCTAD, octad, 8 pure octads. Suddhataka. Even among the 8 pure octads, there is a space element. Without the space element, separation is impossible. So that space element is called what? Akasadhatu. What does it do? Delimit matter. The matter is to be separated or can be separated because of the existence of the space element. Without space, you cannot separate. Now, if you happen to tear a paper, from where that line goes, where the space is there, the line goes. If you break something, from where does it break? Through the space, it is broken. You cannot break the elements. You cannot break them. You can only separate them. Where does the separation happen? Through the space. Space element. 19. 20. Bodily expression, kaya vinyatti, vocal expression. Right? So what happens via our body? The actions are nothing but the bodily expression. Yeah. And the vocal expression, the words coming out of our actions happen through the air element. Abhidhamma says. And the words come out through the earth element. Earth element is active when the words coming out. Bodily actions happen with the help of the air element. Please read. Then comes the vinyatti rupa. I mean, vikara rupa. Vikara rupa are the way things change. Yeah. What are they? First one, lightness, lahuta, malleability, mudita, and wildness, kammanyata. These are characteristics. These are kind of uh, qualities in the matter, right? Lahuta. Please read. Material and physical lightness that dispels heaviness is the opposite of dullness and sluggishness. Lahuta is what? Yeah. Which is light and opposite to heavy. These are just explanations. These are called vikara rupa. Why vikara? Because they do not exist permanently. Sometimes it is light, sometimes it is heavy. You feel light, you feel heavy with your body. Yeah. You feel malleable, you feel rigid, and you feel that your body can be used. But when we are getting older, that same body become impossible to use. So these are vikara rupa. Then comes the lakkana rupa. Lakkana are the characteristics. Right? We usually know there are 3 lakkana. Now Abhidhamma has added another one for that. 3 lakkana are the anicca, dukkha, anatta, right? Impermanent, misery, and non-self. Now Abhidhamma presents another characteristics. First one is upachaya, production, arising of the matter. Then that continuity, santati, upachaya, then santati, continuity of that matter, right? Just like this body, when it was taken birth, with the support of our food, with the support of other types of food, yeah, or we are continuing this body. Now this continuing happening, and this continuing is moving towards what? Decay, jarata. It is decaying, right? But it's still continuing. Then finally, one day, that continuity will stop with the death. That is anicchata. Anicchata implies the ending of the continuity. Please read a bit. Now we move to the Nibbana. These are the, you can see these 28. The, yeah, anicchata is the 28 kinds of matter, right? So we completed that. Then we move to the Nibbana. We don't have much here. Nibbana is one-fold according to its intrinsic nature. Has one intrinsic nature, sabhava, right? A single, undifferentiated, ultimate reality. So the Nibbana experienced by everybody, Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, and Arhants. Everybody experienced a singular reality, exclusively supramundane, that's to say, the unconditioned, deathless element, totally transcendent to the conditioned world. Yeah? I think you understand this. It is the element they experience, unconditioned, deathless element. So, Nibbana is singular in that sense. Nibbana is twofold because of the five aggregates. What is this twofold? What is this duality? Presence or absence of the five aggregates. What are the five aggregates? Yeah. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. That means simply presence or absence of the body. You can see this. Element of Nibbana in Arahants is called with the residue remaining. We call it Pali Saupadisesa. That means all defilements extinguished, right? There are no more defilements, no more kleshas, but the residue of aggregates acquired by past clinging remains throughout the duration of the Arahant's life. Now, Gautam the Buddha got enlightened by the age of 35, but he remained in that body until he was 80. So, with the residue remaining, what is the residue? The five aggregate. Yeah, form, feeling, perception, formations, and consciousness. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. As long as he is there, he had to go through hunger, he had to go through all sorts of worldly mundane differences. Yeah, 8 vicissitudes, all sorts of things he had to go through as long as he exists. But still, he experienced a certain quality of Nibbana. That Nibbana is called Saupadisesa Nibbana. Nibbana that he experienced while residing in that same body. Element of Nibbana attained with the Arahant's death is called without the residue remaining. Once he passes away, once he attained to Nibbana, Parinibbana, to the physical death, then that Nibbana is called Anupadisesa Nibbana. The difference is now he is out of that body. He is free from that five aggregates. Five aggregates are discarded and never acquired again. So these are the two types of Nibbana. Nibbana, as long as he is living in that body, and Nibbana, once he is out of that body with his passing away. Another one, Nibbana is threefold according to the different aspects. Right? These are called, Nibbana is called void, sunyata, because it is devoid of greed, hatred, and delusion. So Nibbana is called sunyata, void. What is the void? The void of greed, hatred, delusion, and devoid of all that is conditioned, devoid of all that is belong to the world. Whatever belong to the world are conditioned. The second one, Nibbana is called signless, animitta, signless, because it is free from the signs of greed, hatred, delusion, and free from all conditioned things. Signs of these things are free. He is free. Then called desireless, appanihita, because it is free from the hankering of greed, hatred, delusion. Again, yeah. So it is called void, signless, desireless. Basically, because uh, he is free from greed, hatred, delusion. Yeah, same reason. So these are the basic things we can find. We can find in the Abhidhamma about Nibbana. We can discuss this further when we are going to discuss one day in the future uh, on the meditation. Yeah, samatha and vipassana meditation. These two categories. When we are going to discuss this, maybe in the winter. As I said, we have to stop this class due to our busy schedule coming in with the rains retreat. So we stop this on this point, but we can, if we get the chance, we can continue with the with the other lessons, maybe in the winter. All right. So with that, we conclude this. A blessing for you all. Sabbityo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavattvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhavena sada vasotti bhavantu te. Sadhu, sadhu.